Hey, Shalom, Akim. First and foremost, call Allah Yahweh, Shemi al Shah, Shemi Dash, and of course, double honor squad to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, who continue to teach us His truth through the Holy Spirit. This is Naaman with the DC camp, and as I'm sure everyone by now has heard, Bill and Melinda, powerful divorce yesterday, Monday. All right, today is April 4th, Tuesday. All right. So this article I'm going to read to you is over a year old now, but it still applies. Just in general, when you have people that are this wealthy, oftentimes, their philanthropy is just an excuse for tax write-offs, things of that nature. Also, it doesn't hurt their, their reputation and status in the world. And they do these things for, in the eyes of men, so to speak. And that, of course, when you give alms, supposed to not let your left hand know what the right hand's doing. It's not supposed to be ego and pride involved in that. And of course, this applies to Israel. All right. But in any case, this article I'm reading is from JacobinMag.com. All right, and this is from this time last year. Well, actually April of last year. Like I said, it's over a year old. And it says Bill Gates' philanthropic giving is a racket. All right. Now we also know that his father was involved in Planned Parenthood. I believe he ran a particular, I can't remember where it was, but Planned Parenthood location, and of course there's the Margaret Sanger issue and what she thought of our people, the quote-unquote weeds that need to be cut down. And in all this, I just came across something that was disturbing yesterday, watching the video of two icons in the so-called black community, and they're like, with this jab, they're like, we need to forget about all these things that happened in the past. Get this, and I'll do a video on that. But it's wow, our people just don't get how people. All right, and like I said, this particular article goes into how this is a scam. All right, and it says, you see the picture here, and also Melinda, she bought a $1.2 million cottage, which is nothing to them. That's like sock change, Cottage in Seattle 3 weeks before. All right, like I said, they filed for divorce yesterday. This is a little over an hour ago now, about an hour and a half maybe. This came out, called the Business Insider, MSN.com, and yeah. Ready to make that move. All right, so let's get to it. It says, Bill Gates recently down from the board at Microsoft. Like I said, this was April of last year. It says the trillion-dollar software colossus he co-founded to dedicate more time to philanthropic priorities, including global health and development, education, and my increasing engagement in tackling climate change. That's his quote. All right. It It says the national papers happily reported the news. It says in his post-Microsoft career, Mr. Gates has become better known for his work in fighting infectious diseases and climate change, and we all know that's just something that's put out there for us to see, all right? And a lot of people fall for it. In February, the Gates Foundation said it would commit an additional $100 million to fight the coronavirus, all right? This was typical of the affectionate press treatment of Gates, who's now considered one of the better billionaires, Trump or the Koch brothers. This is mainly due to the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. And, you know, hey, it's an image thing, you know. This is the world's largest private charitable entity with billions in its endowment used to fighting AIDS, accelerating economic development, and many other worthy causes. And if you should know, if you don't know already, AIDS and all that is patented. How do you patent something? All right. It means you created it. All right. These people are just, well, they are the wicked for a reason. All right. It says, but Bill Gates and his foundation are the perfect picture of why this model of billionaire philanthropy is so flawed. Gates' foundation was originally cooked up as a feel-good gloss to cover up his shredded reputation during Microsoft's antitrust trial. I don't know if y'all remember that. All right. This is putting him in the long tradition of obscenely rich people using the occasional generous gift to try justifying their enormous wealth and power. Because at the turn of the last century, you had a certain president and got the reputation of being the trust buster because you had a lot of wealthy individuals like Andrew Carnegie, I don't know where the Warburgs from Germany. You had a lot of these so-called barons at the time. All right, hold on. All right, you had the steel barons, the oil barons. And here it is, antitrust. It says relating to legislation preventing or controlling trust or other monopolies. All right, with the intention of promoting competition in business. Hey, Microsoft, huge. All right, huge. All right. So yeah. So his image was tarnished there. So all of a sudden he comes out, you know, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. You know, it's an image there. All right. And it's worth remembering where Gates' money came from. And a lot of it's come out lately that he was a product of, you know, the government helped set him up, DARPA or any other entity within the government. He was set up. All right. So in 1981, Microsoft bought the rights to a version of an early operating system, DOS. All right, the basic software running on a computer that makes it operable and can support applications. They modified it and sold it to IBM for its incredibly successful personal computers, leading to stupendous growth at Microsoft as IBM and the many clone PC makers wanted the same OS in order to attract more software developers whose applications made the PC useful. All right, so after they got DOS, everybody had to come to them. It says this created network effects, which we economists will tell you is a major driver of monopolization. Gates and his tech CEO chums have used that monopolization to summon gigantic profits to tighten their grip over still growing portions of the world economy. Network effects are present when a service gains value to you as more people use it, like a phone network. Markets delivering this kind of service are especially prone to monopoly, both since early leaders in the market tend to build up an advantage in their bigger network And since networks typically require a uniform standard in order for users to broadly connect and benefit from it. All right. Now, let me get some scriptures here. This is, that's why this says what it says. Let's see. This is Sirach 27. I'll start at the top. It says, many have sinned for a small matter, and he that seeketh for abundance will turn his eyes away. 2, as a nail sticketh fast between the joints of the stones, so doth sin stick close between buying and selling. So you're always going to have some crooked mess because people like this, you know, you get the money, you get the power. Hey, especially in this world, all right? Because remember, this world was given into the hands of the wicked, Job 9:24, all right? They rule. It says people want to use or join networks that already have many users, like Facebook, rather than ones with very few. The long-lasting AT&T phone monopoly is a major historical example, along with today's regional rail shipping monopolies and Facebook's social media empire. And Gates' company exploded with a prime slice of the entire early IT revolution. During his company's manic growth period, Gates emerged as a modern Gilded Age tycoon. Even sympathetic biographers refer to Gates' frequent abrasive, childish rants and childlike temper tantrums. So you look at this guy and you're like, he's harmless. Shit. Don't sleep on people like this, all right? I'm thinking of those Hostel movies, if you remember. Let me see here. Hostel. You know, it's individuals like this, Gates and others like him, that you end up, when you sleep on them, you end up like in situations like this. These are the, hey, rethink all these children. It says 3 backpackers head to a Slavic city that promises to meet their hedonistic expectations with no idea of the hell that awaits them. You know, I believe it was in the second one. Was it the second one? Where you had these, in this particular instance, you had these so-called pillars of the community. And people just, you know, the kind of people look at, you know, because of their sad status, you know, Edomites in particular. You know, and the other nations have followed them. But particularly Edomites, you know, they're doctors, lawyers, whatever have you. You know. And this one particular one was on the golf course, and he got a call, and he said, just a second, I got to take this. Kind of find out it was for him to bid on this woman that they had kidnapped, you know. And, you know, there's a lot of things that go on. These people ain't right, you know. Yeah, but he's prone to temper tantrums. This is Gates' number 2 and CEO successor, Steve Ballmer. Let's get this, because I don't remember him in particular. So, okay, yeah. I think he bought Clippers from that old racist, whatever that fake Jew. I mean, he may be one too. I don't know. But Steve Ballmer, right? It says they maintain this reputation of management by yelling like an ape at employees and sometimes throwing chairs. These are the patterns of human behavior that are encouraged by the business world's strict hierarchy. And tech, despite its reputation for in-office training and green tea vending machines, is no exception. So all this stuff that you heard about, you know, even with, what is it, Google, it's supposed to be so employee employee friendly, and I'm okay. You fall for that if you want to, but again, that goes to the image. All right. It says the ability of corporate hierarchy to create cultish conformity is well known, but Gates took it to new cultish heights, as shown in business reporting on Gates' rocking habit. It has become part of the corporate culture at Microsoft among programmers trying to recreate themselves in the chairman's. Gates often rocks himself in a chair, elbows on knees, to contain his intensity, especially when the talk is about computers. It's not unusual to walk into a room with Microsoft managers and find most of them rocking in sync with him during an important meeting. Oh man. Gates's charm also comes out in episodes in which he frequently slammed his hand into his fist while saying, we've got to crush whatever rival dared sell software in the 90s. We're going to put digital research out of business. James Wallace and Jim Erickson's standard history of the company recounts slamming his fist into the palm of his other hand. He would issue a similar vow twice more during the next year, promising to put MicroPro and Lotus out of business, each time emphasizing his promise by smashing his fist into his hand. All right, and then it goes on into some more, techno jargon. All right, we went out to Netscape or Mosaic. It was later Netscape. I mean, like, what do you expect? They say, you equate the business world. It's war. That's what I've heard. All right, on this level especially. So, let's see what else. It says Microsoft's hardball tactics in the browser wars and its endless parade of these power plays from chip design to media players now began to catch up with it as the extremely business-friendly United States finally had to take action. In public, he said, who decides what's in Windows? The customers who buy it. But the talk turned to politics, and he bragged, of course, I have as Indeed, he golfed with President Bill Clinton, dined with House Speaker Newt Gingrich, and had Vice President Al Gore visit the Redmond Microsoft campus. Like all great capitalists, he enjoyed the company of powerful figures with a budding interest. But his company's aggressive steps to take over new markets like web browsing forced the Justice Department's hand. All right, the ensuing trial itself was fascinating for several reasons, not least of which is Gates' performance. He gave hours of videotaped testimony for the case, viewable today online. Besides being a transparently evasive and condescending ruling class dick, Gates made a long list of claims that will soon be directly refuted in court by comparison to his own emails. The media was killing him on the nightly news, and even bland business journals like Business Week reported he argues with prosecutors only use words, including we and compete. Early rounds of his deposition show him offering obfuscatory answers and saying, I don't recall, so many times that even the presiding judge had to chuckle. Worse, many of the technology chief's denials and pleas of ignorance have been directly refuted by prosecutors with snippets of email Gates both sent and received. It was during this trying time that Gates discovered the wonders of charitable giving, because his ass was in a sling. All right? And then it goes on to Gates Gates. All right? But again, this is something that, wow. Let's get some more scriptures here. Let's go to Proverbs. All right. You can can see even here the part I read to you about the trial, you know, still, a person like this, they're not going to throw the book in. We all know that. All right. Certain people get preferential treatment. That's just the way this world is. It says Proverbs 28 and 21, but it should not be. To have respect of persons is not good. For a piece of bread, that man will transgress. What I say about money and power. All right. Let's see. Let's see. This is Proverbs chapter 30, verse 7. It says, two things have I required of thee, deny me them not before I die. Remove far from me vanity and lies. Give me neither poverty nor riches. Why? Because people like that, their whole being is in gaining wealth. All right? That's it. That's why, I read about you having the temper tantrums and things of that nature. And this is one you can see it, and this is the best way for a person like this. They're so preoccupied with wealth, living that lifestyle. The best way to get at them is to take everything away, and that's going to happen to that whole nation, that whole race, because how did they get what they got? All right, you got to remember Esau's blessing. Yes, it's a sword, but he's also very deceitful and crafty, i.e., he's a devil. All right, he's a liar, he's a deceiver. That's all that means. All right. Verse 8, it says, remove from me vanity and lies, give me neither poverty nor riches, feed me with food convenient for me. And that's what we, as Israelites, you got to be careful. You've got to maintain and even kill, as they used to say, And Paul even said that. He said, I know how to act according if he's or based, if he's on occasion, he gets a little bit, he knows how to act, carry himself, and if he's brought low, all right, to maintain his dignity, all right, his not to get absorbed into the world, all right. Feed me with food convenient for me. That's why you're to stay in the scriptures here, all right. This is the comforter. Remember, let's see. And of course, when dealing with a subject like this, Psalm 73. The end of the wicked contrasted with that of the righteous. All right? Because a lot of our people, this is how they get caught up. For I was envious at the foolish when I saw the prosperity of the wicked. All right? For there are no bands in their death, but their strength is firm. It appears to be. They are not in trouble as other men, neither are they plagued like other men. All right? Therefore, pride, and you have to also consider when Rothschild, when Moses Amschel, you got to remember his statement. He says, give me control of the nation's, I'm paraphrasing here, give me control of the nation's wealth, and I care not who makes the laws. Why did he say that? All right? Because you got the money bags. Everybody's got to come to you. So they tend to bend those laws in favor of you. All right? It says, they are not in trouble as other men, neither are they plagued like other men. Therefore, pride compasses them about as these devils. These are proud devils. All right? Violence covereth them as a garment. So proud, in fact, that when any little thing, the majority of them take their life. Verse 7, their eyes stand out with fatness. They have more than heart could wish. This man's worth 148 plus billion with a B dollars. Now that he's in a divorce, who knows what's going to happen? But still, if you take half of that, come on now. 8, they are corrupt. We were talking about antitrust and all that. They are corrupt and speak wickedly concerning oppression. Get a job. You know, they speak loftily. Ain't nothing wrong with you. Slavery, 150 years ago. Get over it. When they still prosper. All right. It says they set their mouth against the heavens through the earth. Therefore his people return hither, and waters of a full cup are run out to them, and they say, how do we know? And is there knowledge in the Most High? All right. Why? Because they're all about this world. All right. Question if the Most High knows. Of course he does. All right. And is there knowledge in the Most High? It's not. In other words, it's not going to profit them. All right. You got to think of Wisdom of Solomon, 2nd chapter. All right. It says, behold, these are the ungodly who prosper in the world. They increase in riches. These are the people. They are the ungodly. This is who we're talking about here. All right. They are the ungodly. All right. It says, let's see. Indeed, philanthropy, the very richest men and women globally, is one of the main arguments their defenders have. Sure, Gates and other billionaires make a lot of money, but then they use it to help us. So generous. And look, he's smarter than our racist TV president. But often it's a fig leaf for ruling class dominance. And that's just it. The general public, these are people that they put on a pedestal. All right? And they're not for your interest. It says further, in this era of tax cuts for wealthy households and resulting government budget deficits, many advocates of cutting back the social safety net still point to private philanthropy and faith-based organizations as being able to step into their place. But this is ludicrous. Private charities, even on the scale reviewed here, are nowhere near able to independently pay for a country's social needs, from housing the mentally ill to providing vaccines. All right, so let's see, skip it down. Whoa, as for the empire, the Bush administration's Department of Justice, this is Bush Jr. W., it said dropped its demand to break up the company, despite a federal court formally ruling that Microsoft had a monopoly on Intel-based PC operating systems, and that it had used illegal monopolization tactics to crush software threats from Netscape, Sun, Apple, and others. So today, Gates remains cartoonishly rich and free to step down from Microsoft's board on his own terms. All right, he didn't need a golden parachute. Meanwhile, the corporate media happily helped to shine his reputation as a generous benefactor of humanity instead of a petty, bullying scumbag. I'm trying to think of that scripture, or it's in James. Hold on. Let's see. Maybe 2. Let's see. Let's see. Yeah, here it is. James 2 and 1. Start at the top. My brethren, this is the sin of partiality. My brethren, have not the faith of our Lord Yahushua HaMashiach, the Lord of glory, with respect of persons. I went into this earlier. It says, for if there come unto you assembly a man with a gold ring in goodly apparel, and there come in also a poor man in vile raiment, and ye have respect to him that weareth the gay clothing, and say unto him, good place, and say to the poor, stand thou there, or sit here under my footstool. Are ye not then partial in yourselves, and are become judges of evil thoughts? All right. Hearken, my beloved brethren, hath not the Most High Yahweh chosen the poor of this world, rich in faith, and heirs of the kingdom which he hath promised to them that love him? Who is that talking to? That's talking about Israelites only. All right. Who are the poor? All right. Go back to 1 Corinthians, first chapter. All right. When it talks about, the poor of this world, rich in faith, and he's talking about the wisdom and who he gave it to. All right. And then you go into Ephesians 2nd chapter, the 8th verse. What? That's Israelites. All right. 1 Corinthians chapter. Those gifts of the Spirit, that's Israelites. Faith is one of them. All right. Heirs of the kingdom. Verse 6, it says, but ye have despised the poor. Do not rich men oppress you and draw you before the judgment seats? 7, do not they blaspheme that worthy name by the which ye are called? Did I not read in Psalm 73 about, is there any knowledge in the Most High? All right. These are these people. These are the ungodly. Like I read in Psalm 73. These are the ungodly. But they prosper in the world. All right. So with that, I'm going to call it here. I'm on way over. I couldn't help it. But yeah, this is, these are the people that the world looks up to as they've made it. These are the people that are going to help us. All right. What's the expression, living vicariously through someone? That's what the world does when it comes to people like this, thinking they got it going on. Okay, whatever. All right, so yeah, so with this, I hope whoever views this course is edified. Hey, time grows short. Continue to pray, to watch and pray. All right. So with that, hey, shalom.